Good evening. There are so many of you. So let's start with this. I'm guessing when you walked in today, you probably met some new people. And they probably asked your name, and maybe you had some small talk. Maybe someone was asking who you came to see or what part of Boston you lived in. I had a similar experience, and I met some perfectly kind strangers, and after they asked me my name, guess what predictably the next question they asked was? Anyone? Yeah, close. What do you do? Why is this always one of the first questions we ask each other? What if, instead of asking each other what we do, we asked each other what we love? Now, this may sound absurd or totally too personal, but we learn at a very early age that our job titles tell the world who we are. And what is more absurd than that? Right? It begins as early as kindergarten, when we're asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? This is during our dreaming phase, where we believe that we can do anything we set our minds to, where our perception of possibility is endless. And then, before we've even had a chance to experience the real world, we're forced to choose an identity that will unlikely reflect who we will become. How can we choose what we want to be before we really even know who we are? Pick a major, pick an industry of focus. Why is it that between the ages of 18 to 22 do these decisions determine the next 40 to 50 years of our lives? Yes! Right? Why must our lives, or rather our work lives, be so linear, so black and white, so defined? And let's be honest, this is where we'll spend the most of our time. I came to this realization through my own experience, and I believe we're on the onset of a new model, a new renaissance. Where combining our skills and our passions across many disciplines is more crucial than ever. Why? Technology. Just as a printing press paved the ways for the new ideals and innovations that helped form the Renaissance, I believe automation is the technology that is taking us to this next big shift. Now, automation may sound scary, but actually, it gives us the opportunity to reevaluate what makes us humans amazing. And I'm guessing that most of you in this room can identify with that desire. So what does this mean for you, and what does this mean for business as usual? If we learn to combine our skills across many different fields, our way of being becomes more diverse, more fulfilled, and better prepares us for the world that's coming. I bet we all know businesses that are over-departmentalized, where job titles leave people feeling divided, unfulfilled, undervalued. Maybe some of you have even applied for these jobs with a narrow resume, molded, never presenting your whole self. Imagine a world that could tap into its people's full potential, where natural talents are able to shine. If we could create a culture or a business that had more flexibility, we would have more flexibility across the whole unit, the business, the world, everything. Because instead of a person needing to take a day off, or maybe a day to themselves, instead, we would have a whole pool of multi-talented problem solvers right at our fingertips. This is the future I believe in, and it's the present I live in. Now, I came to this realization a bit late in life. I'm a bit of a late bloomer here on this one. I thought I was living the dream. I had a home, a dog, a husband, and a job with a 401k. Right? Do people still have those? I don't know. But what became a recurring realization is that I was living everyone else's vision of my life except my own. It was time to make a shift, and that shift came with great sacrifice. I left the comfort and the stability of a community I'd had for over 10 years. Not to mention my favorite taco truck, and traded it in for the exciting and highly unpredictable city of New York. After graduating with my MFA, right, New Yorkers, after graduating with my MFA from NYU in performance design, jobs were scarce, and as a freelancer, waiting for my industry to locate me was not an opportunity I could afford. So instead, I went looking outside of those parameters using my core wheelhouse of skills. I suddenly found that I was qualified to do many things. I even started working in fields that didn't even know they needed me yet. I entered jobs and projects not particularly knowing or being specifically trained in the work, but instead embraced it as an opportunity for learning and for growth. I embraced the why not me. Now, you can be trained in one thing, yes, perfectly normal. But instead of letting that one thing control us, I believe we can let that one thing allow us to diversify how we work and how we live. It even gives us permission to create jobs that don't even exist yet. And so today, that's exactly what I do. And while I'm masterfully trained as a costume set designer, I've taken these core competencies and distilled them down even further to storytelling for the body and the environment. I consider this my medium, just like your medium might be numbers or space or food. By using this as my foundational reference point, I found ways to innovate ways of working across many verticals, beginning with theater and film, and expanding into fashion, experience design, wearable technology, and even working in the field of sports and medicine. If my journey can pioneer new ways of working, why can't yours? I firmly believe that to position yourself in the way that I have, you need to acutely view the world at a very micro level. You need to tap into the vibrations around you and find your superpower. And then you let this superpower guide your personal and professional growth. Let it take you in many diverse places and embrace the not knowing. And maybe like me, you might just fall in love with your job each and every day. There are some challenges in working this way, of course. Without a definitive title, people sometimes don't know how to locate you, and it's natural to want to fit in. How can you be at the top of your game when nobody knows what your game is? But I would like to suggest an alternative mindset. That combining your skills across many fields actually gives you more freedom, more agency, and more ways to succeed. By being open to the way we master our work, we gain the ability to adapt. We become more resilient. And again, in the age of automation, this will prove to be indispensable. Even as we speak, new jobs are being formed at a rapid pace, replacing the rigid ones of the past. Jobs, well-paying jobs, we never could have even dreamed of. With technology in every aspect of our lives, there are new holes to fill, and younger generations are filling them with creative and unprecedented, untitled. I mean, I'd like to be a meme lord, wouldn't you? Even kids today are identifying in more fluid ways. They're shedding archetypes, shedding labels, moving in and out of friend groups, listening to different types of music, challenging gender norms. Even the way they learn is shifting. They are ahead of the game, and I propose we join them. This perspective shift, yes, thank you. Let's join them. We gotta hurry. This perspective shift does challenge our notion of success, where instead of checking boxes and upward movement, it looks more like a Venn diagram. There's a Japanese concept to living a more fulfilled life called ikigai. It is less about success, but more about happiness and fulfillment. It combines how you need to make money, what you need, what you're good at, and what you love. It is the intersection of these 4 core ideals that is at the sweet spot for a new authenticity. It brings us closer to our true selves. So whatever it may be, that tool set, that wheelhouse, that medium, consider the possibility of a new paradigm where work feels less like work and more like a purpose. So even when you're asked, what do? You can actually answer with what you love. Thank you. Thank you.